Hey guys, it's John here again. In this video I'm going to show my thread response to Frankie, Frankie's music channel. My first 10 albums. This was quite hard because I actually pulled out 20 and I had to go through and make sure that I got them at that time, so the right time. Two of my albums I don't have anymore. I do have them on CD, but I've gone and packed my CDs up for a load of my stuff and just kept out the main things, and you'll see in a minute, or I'll just mention what they are. But my obviously I collected cassettes. I had one of them round, well not round, one of them square cassette things that used to be a carousel thing you could turn around with 4 sides, and I put the cassettes in there. And each week I'd go, right, that's my favourite album, and it would go to the start of the thing, and then I'd do first my favourite, second, and then third and fourth. Yeah, that was probably down to my autism, which I never knew I had then. Making sure everything was like, that was my favourite album, second favourite, third favourite, fourth, and sometimes over the course of a few weeks they'd change. But I didn't have a huge amount of money, so I couldn't go out and buy an album all the time, and that makes you appreciate music more, because you might only have 5 cassettes in your collection, and you'll listen to those religiously, like, yeah, I'm going to listen to that one and I'll play it over and over again, and then you'll put it away and then you'll try it again. That was the best thing about cassettes. And the other, you know, and if you had a cassette thingy that auto reverse on your stereo, that was handy as well. Actually, you didn't have to take it out. So my first album that I had is going to be what my mum bought me for my birthday present. A lot of guys who seen my my vinyl tag videos will know just what album that is. And so that is not this cover. The cover I had was what my vinyl is. Actually, I'll get the vinyl instead. Is it there? God, where did I put it? I haven't put these back. That's weird. Typical, can't find it. There must be somewhere else, because I had the album out the other day. Don't know where they are. Right, but it is the album with the members of the band on, standing in the picture, or some of them I think crouching as well. And it is Europe's The Final Countdown. It was the first album I actually owned with a case, and because I did find an album in a skip once. I don't think that was, actually no, that was after this. Yeah, that was when I was in secondary school. Actually no, this would have been secondary school anyway, when I was 11, 'cause I was the same. Metal Mickey mentioned that he had Final Countdown, loved it in 86 but didn't get it to 87. I was the same. My mum bought it for my 11th birthday. So yeah, The Final Countdown. Oh, that ghost is in here again. Keeps knocking things over, pulling things down. Right, doesn't like Paradise Lost today. So yeah, Europe, The Final Countdown, awesome. I played that religiously on my cassette. Was so worn out. I wish I still had my original cassette, but I don't have any of the original cassettes anymore. And then I went through a phase of being absolutely just, Europe were, many people won't realise this, but Europe were the only band I sourced for their stuff in early 87 when I got that Europe album. and I had to get some pocket money put aside to earn this. And I used to clean my pop's cars and my uncle's car, and I used to, you know, I used to get about £6 for the weekend for cleaning 2 cars. So I'd go out and buy an album with that money, and the cheapest one around at the time, and I went crazy when I got it, and I was like, wow. And it was Europe's Wings of Tomorrow. I bought that on cassette, and it was probably about £4.99 on cassette at the time. Absolutely awesome, loved it, played it to death. And then obviously I saved up my money cleaning cars every Saturday and Sunday, and then my record collection started getting bigger, and I then went out and bought the cassette. I was just obsessed, really was obsessed with Europe. You just don't know how obsessed I was. I wouldn't go in and buy much else. And then it wasn't until 1988 that I, you know, I went out and bought, was it 88? I think I didn't say, I don't think I'm just trying to think. Actually, no, I didn't get that one straight away. I got, I went out and bought Def Leppard's High and Dry, because that was very cheap, if I can remember rightly now. Yeah, that High and Dry, and I played that exactly the same, just so many times on cassette. I had it on cassette as well. I'm trying to get them in the right order here. And then later on, I went out and sorry, I've missed out one, eh? My first ever cassette, first album I ever bought, which should be there, after my mum bought me the Europe Countdown, sorry, was Bryan Adams' first album, just entitled Bryan Adams. I don't have my original cassette. I do have it on CD, but it's packed away. That was the first album I bought on cassette. First album I bought with my own money. So yeah, then I bought Wings of Tomorrow, then High and Dry. And I bought also the cassette of You Want It, You Got It, Bryan Adams, because I loved Bryan Adams as well. This was well before he did that I'll Do Anything For You, but I won't do that. No, that's Meatloaf. I'll do... Oh God, it's too late. Yeah, I went out and bought this one, and I bought Cuts Like a Knife, and I do remember I did get Cuts Like a Knife on vinyl later on, but I did have it on cassette as well, and I had that and the first Bryan Adams album, and yeah, I played those so many times. So we've got 1, 2, 3. I've done 6 records now. Right, so I've only got 4 more to go, and I've got 4 there. Right, that's good. Hang on a minute. Yeah, there's one I've got to throw out now. This is so hard. Why couldn't you pick more, Frankie? Why couldn't you have done more? So I've got 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums, so I can choose 4 more. Oh my God, this is going to be hard. That should be there. And I went out and got these 2, but I can't remember which ones were in the right order. But I definitely got 1987 on cassette, so absolutely love that. And Out of This World, I remember going in to buy the cassette of this and realised it said it was a red cassette, collector's edition only, or collector's edition. Oh, my thing's paused. So yeah, I went out into Woolworths, it was, and I saw it on the shelf and I thought, are they going to let me buy this? I was quite naive. Are they going to let me buy this, the red cassette of this, because it says collector's edition? And I thought, are they going to ask me if I'm a collector or not? And I know it sounds really daft now, but maybe that was the autistic part of me. It was going on my head. And it took me about 3 times going into Woolworths to pluck up the courage to buy that cassette, take it to the counter and go, right, if they ask me if I'm a collector, I'll just say, yeah, I'm a collector, yeah. I really didn't have a clue, did I? I was, you know, how old was I then? 1988, 89 time. Yeah, I was 12, 13. So yeah, but once I got it and I realised I could buy collector's editions without being quizzed over if I was a collector, that was when I went, I can buy whatever I like now. So yeah, so I bought that. So I can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Oh God, if I counted wrong again. This is bloody hard. Oh no, that one up there. 2 more. 2 more. If I've messed up this amount, please ignore me. I'm not the best at counting, especially after 10. I get stuck. Where do I go after that? I'm joking. And then, obviously, I can't remember which one of these I got next. Some people will be amazed that I didn't get this till quite later on, but it was because it was quite expensive, and I used to just pick up the cheap stuff. But I did have singles off of it, and the album is Hysteria. So I didn't get my copy of Hysteria till about late 88, early 89, mid 89 time, and I bought it on cassette originally. Loved it. What more can you say? And then I think I might have gone over the amount, I'm not sure. And I do remember definitely buying this when this came out, and I was like, I'm having that. Definitely having that. And it was Queen's The Miracle, and bought that on cassette as well, because I used to listen to my uncle's livinyg cassette. I used to listen to all my Whitesnake. The Whitesnake stuff was always my uncle's cassettes. I used to listen to what else did he have? Just trying to think what other cassettes. Hot City Nights compilation. That's how I got into all the music I like. There was Chris Rea. There was all sorts of stuff. But that was mainly, I had lots of albums to listen to, but they weren't all mine. So and that was what I aspired to do, was to buy so many albums. I always used to look through the magazines and go, right, look down the list and see all these bands like Scorpions and Van Halen and lots of other bands that were in the magazines. Who else? Other Whitesnake, Ozzy Osbourne stuff. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that sounds like. Oh, and it wasn't till till 91. Well, then I went Scorpions 90. 91, I got the into Ozzy, and I just went mad at Ozzy, stuff like that. So, and then carried on with my Def Leppard and Europe stuff. So, and yeah, I would have liked to have done a top 20 of this. That would have been great. So, but yeah, very shortly after that, I had a Wasp as well. And Skid Row, you know, I've said about Skid Row being my first, that's my first record. My second record was Wasp, or the Bryan Adams album I mentioned before, which I did have on cassette originally. But yeah, absolutely, trying to go back to 30 years ago and remember, blooming hard. Oh, and Tears for Fears, I had those albums, the Hurting and Songs from the Big Chair, and I used to play those, but they were like, you know, around the time of these, but I could only pick 10, so it's really difficult to remember which ones I bought exactly when, but that's the ones I got to hand. The ones, you know, really difficult. That was quite difficult to do. So, right, I'm going. I'll see you later. Cheers.